Here we are. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to turn on the music. I always forget to do something, Glenn.
Okay.
There's always something that I don't end up doing, and today it was turning on the music. There we go. There's the music. What a day.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
It's funny, I posted the Capitol building on Reddit, and it went
Oh, nice.
and it went viral. Like it got almost
cool.
it's at almost 6,000 upvotes
Oh my god.
on Reddit. Yeah, yeah. It's the top upvoted post on the Minecraft builds, the /r Minecraft builds Reddit right now. Um,
Holy wow.
which is super cool. But
Yes.
the comment that everyone is sharing is that it's ironic that because I shared it last night,
Oh yes.
and
Yeah,
so
it is ironic.
the comment is that it's ironic that I shared the Capitol building, and then with what happened today.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean this whole yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
who would have thought? Who would have thought? Yeah.
I'm gonna do some tweeting here for a second.
Yeah, it's brought about some good discussions though, so that's good. I mean, I think it's going to be yeah.
I'm interested in seeing what happens the rest of the night.
Yeah, that's a good question. And just the rest of this time through January 20th, you know, and through actually, I would say probably the next 6 months. I don't think it's going to end there.
Oh, I don't see how it does.
No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. It's too many people. Too many people that's um are just on that's live in that realm. And I see for sure that he will have his own network and broadcasting stuff and continuing the and whatever else it might be. So and there's just too many people that support him. That's this it just won't dissipate. It doesn't just it's not gonna just go away.
No. I'm gonna change.
I wonder
to...
what the numbers that were actually there. You know, they were talking tens of thousands at least.
Hey Becky, welcome. Hello. Yeah, I don't know how many people were there, but it was a lot. I mean, it was enough, right? That
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, you know, to begin with versus the people that decided to go ahead and take the next step, you know. And
right.
it's just mob mentality. Once that gets going, you know, anything can happen, you know. So for for it to have not turned out worse is actually a surprise because again, anything can happen once you decide as a mob to do, you know, whatever it is, and you feel that you're being supported and that you have the right to do it and that you're going to do something, whatever it is that the intent was, you know, um, besides chaos, yeah, whatever the intent was.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's for sure one of those things where I a lot of people would like to believe that it's just going to be always once the transition happens. But I don't think so. I think it's going to be crazy for the next few weeks, but then even after that, I could see just a lot of civil.
So it's funny because they were talking today. Finally, I mean, some people have been talking about it since the beginning, but like about the 25th Amendment and like removing him from office. And I mean, it's
Even if they did that, I think that would actually incite more violence. To be honest with you, I think that
it's
doesn't.
possible.
Can you imagine they remove him from office, but he still has platforms, as far as.
Well, they deleted some of his tweets today. Did you see that?
Yeah,
just,
for
just
sure.
Tonight
I'm
there.
just saying, people will find the messages. I mean, there was a relative of mine that there's already these conspiracy theories that this was all plants by whoever else it might be. I mean, they're already one step ahead. You know what I mean? They came here peacefully. These other people did these certain things, and that's why Antifa and blah blah blah, whatever it might be. So I just know that most intelligent person in the world, but there's a lot of people behind all of this with a lot of hate and a lot to gain, actually, I think, from doing these things and from continuing this.
Yeah.
Like this mob and bringing all the people together and kind of directing their hatred. I mean, it's a lot of it is at specific things. It won't be. I mean, I'm not against removing him from office. I'm just saying that that's not really gonna. I don't think it's gonna be like, oh, okay, he's gone now, so let's all go home, or let's stop doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
I had esports thing a few months ago.
How long have you been working on the model? It's funny, we actually did some kind of back of the napkin math this afternoon because we got asked. I think it's related to a media inquiry from LA Works, but we think that all in, we've probably put 400 hours into the project. Not just like, it's not just this, like, so we have the Capitol building, but you can actually see this is all of Washington DC's capital region. So probably, what's that, about 50% of the Smithsonian's have been done. The Washington Monument has been done. The World War II Memorial has been done. And this is the Lincoln Memorial. You can see it here. So the Lincoln Memorial was done, and we got to wrap up work on the White House in the next 24 hours. I'm going to spend a whole bunch of time tomorrow on it as well. But we're going to work on the White House. Lots of work on the U.S. Capitol for a Canadian. It's funny, I care apparently more about the Capitol building tonight than most Americans, or a lot of, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Than certainly the Americans that are there. Yeah, so did the White House pool the other night. Becky, I should highlight Becky, Steam Cultivator, who's in the chat. He had some American help. I was actually just gonna call you out too. Becky made some amazing cherry trees. Because apparently along this road here, there are tons of cherry blossom trees. And so she's, we thought it'd be a nice little diversion from a lot of the granite and quartz and concrete that is, the capital area. These are pretty lovely, and so we're gonna bring people down this road when they do their little tour, so that you can see the cherry trees. We got more models to all the examples. All the cherry tree exemplars are here.
Mm.
So there's a couple different styles and sizes, and Becky's gonna copy and paste them. This is just the one style copied a bunch of times. Becky's gonna copy and paste a bunch of them in. So does that lead to the Jefferson Memorial? So um it's a bit of a loaded question. So there's a wall here that you can sort of see the black line. This is kind of where we're containing people. So the Jefferson Memorial is um technically on the map. It's right here. So there's Jefferson. But you will not be able to go to the Jefferson Memorial as part of the experience that we're building. So you can actually see that this wall uh is huge, and it's going to be clear, so you're going to be able to see through the wall. It's going to be barrier blocks, but you're not going to be able to go to Jefferson. You're just going to be able to see it from a distance. This is the contained kind of space that we're kind of keeping the guests, for lack of better words, in. So still need to copy and paste others too, and rotate it too. Yeah. No, it's gonna look great. Now that we have a few people in the chat and whatnot, welcome in. By the way, I'm Mr. Washburn. Glen Irvin is with me in the voice chat. He co-hosts a very popular education podcast with me called On Education. I don't know if that's linked anywhere in my panels. It wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. Glen can share a link or something, maybe in the chat. But yeah, we've been podcasting together for 3 years this March.
I was gonna say, I probably had more hair back at the beginning, but I didn't.
we've been working together. You know, I'll tell you, we talk almost every day.
For 3 years.
3 years, like a brother.
Insane. I was gonna say, it's been an interesting 3 years then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about why we even were the first topics we were discussing, it was about school shootings.
Yep.
Were some of the first topics we were discussing, and the concept that some people probably still have it in their heads that we were going to arm the teachers. Remember that, Mike?
Yeah.
At the beginning, we began with some pretty hot political / educational topics, and it's continued since then. So.
Well,
yeah.
I think the one thing that we've been consistently telling and reminding people is that education is political.
Yeah.
You know, the politicians are the people who decide everything about education virtually, except for the actual, to be honest, they even decide how it's delivered in the classroom. So, you know, to suggest that educators should stay out of politics is insane and almost doing a disservice to your profession. And I think that when we started the podcast, and I'll be perfectly honest, without throwing shade, for lack of better words, at other education podcasts, I still think we're really the only education podcast that takes dives into the content
topics, yeah.
that we do.
Yep.
I mean, I don't listen, to be honest, I don't listen to a lot of education podcasts, but
I do.
yeah, no, I know. And I don't think anyone is doing we're not for everybody, and I'm fine with that. But we're for some people.
Lost some listeners because of that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's funny that I'm sitting here looking at the Capitol building and reminiscing with you about 3 years of podcasting, and it doesn't escape me that we got into podcasting to talk about issues and concerns in education that people weren't necessarily talking about. And tonight, I asked you to come chat with me in voice because here we are again talking about something that is like gravely important, but something that has to be talked about because tomorrow teachers all over the world, frankly, are going to be in their classrooms or on their meets or their teams or their hangouts or their Zoom calls. And there's no doubt that the first thing that their kids are going to want to talk about, especially anyone probably older than, how old's our son? Like 10, right? 10, or sorry, 12.
Yep.
That there's no doubt that anyone around our sons, like we both have sons that are around the same age, they're going to want to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be scared. Yeah. They're going to be scared. I heard a lot of news reporters. I was watching CNN most of the night, which I find a little mind-numbing, but some of it was good. But one of the perspectives I found interesting was that, there are kids like our sons, our oldest sons, who weren't alive for 9/11.
No.
And this isn't exactly. This isn't 9/11. But the fear is, they were saying it, and I'm just repeating what they said, but they said the fear is similar. This is the first time they had that illness in their gut about what was going on in their country. And I can understand that. And so you're going to have kids tomorrow coming to class and they're going to be scared. They're going to
yeah.
Go ahead.
I would agree with that. And I was thinking, Mike, that a big difference, though, obviously there's a lot of differences between that, is 9/11 and what occurred after 9/11, whether you agree with the politics of it or whatever might be. One thing that it did do is it brought our country, and I would say almost all Americans would agree with me, that brought our country together. We were passionate about rebuilding and making sure that we stuck together. I think it's one of the things that I can clearly remember just about that moment. And we were very, I felt like united. That's a good way of describing it. I couldn't feel more disconnected to the people that did what they did today to that building right there that you're showing. I couldn't feel more disconnected to anyone in the world, frankly, than I do to them. And that's where we stand right now. And that's why I think it's really important to understand that going into tomorrow, that you're going to have those perspectives from, let's say our kids they listen to us because we're their parents, and we happen to lean a specific way on the political scale, and we're going to talk about things in a certain way, just like 50% around there of Americans are going to speak to their kids in a specific way about these people and their actions in a way that is going to not reflect the truth. I mean, that's the lightest way I could put it. And so I like this tweet, and I'm going to throw it here into the chat, by John Spencer. And one of the things he just talks about, like, make sure that we don't soften and say that there's like two sides of this,
Yes.
There's protesters and those types of things. But I also love a response in there. This is probably the biggest, most important thing. If you're an educator, you're going to talk to educators tomorrow, whatever it might be, and you're going to be talking about this topic. Andrew Kozlowski, I think that's how you say his name, Mr. Cos 31, responded with, think it's vital for teachers to plan very well for discussions, expect and prepare for students to call these traitors patriots, and be ready to respond. And this is the key right here, in a non-emotional way that doesn't push students further into their echo chamber. You you have to obviously speak the truth, but you also have to allow them to voice whatever it is that they're going to voice, and then go ahead and speak the truth of what it actually is, but not get emotional about it. And that's a hard thing to do. I mean, frankly, it's freaking super difficult thing to do, but it's vital to do that as an educator in your classroom, because not that you're playing neutral, because you're not. You're just stating the facts, because you're delivering what actually did occur and what happened,
Yeah.
and the implications of what those people did. So I thought those were super important.
I I I loved actually Becky is who showed me um John's tweet. Um and I love it. I love it because I think it's critical to use the right words to describe what's been going on and what happened tonight. Um and do not don't don't soften your vocabulary because you don't think your kids can handle it. I think the bigger lesson is that words matter, and that there are the right words for this. This was a riot, not a protest. And um you know, I don't even have a problem calling the people, it was an act of domestic terrorism. And I don't think you should be afraid to say that. Our district sent a voice message to parents to give grace to others. I found it inappropriate. Not the time to be complacent. This was a coup and it was treason. I agree. Mitt Romney uses the word sedition a lot in the last 24 hours. And he was actually in the speech that he was going to be giving, he actually said sedition. I can keep my cool. Wouldn't call it a protest like some people keep. It's not. It wasn't a protest.
The beginning of it was a protest.
Yeah.
What it turned into, what those group of people that decided what they were going to be doing as far as heading over to the Capitol building, that what happened next was not a protest anymore. The beginning part where you had some things, you were sharing your ideas, you were expressing your thoughts, all of that very legal. You could do those types of things, but what happened next is what happens when the leader of the party, the president of the United States, tells you that you should do something, and you already feel impassioned to do so, and then you get into that mind frame, and you start going ahead and making decisions which a lot of these people will for sure regret for the rest of their life. I mean, one person is dead because of it.
Someone died.
And
Someone died attacking
Yeah.
the Capitol building. And
yeah,
there is like this whole little like Twitter thing calling this person attacked the Capitol building. It's terrible that anyone lost their life. Obviously, this person attacked was a domestic terrorist, and I think that should be abundantly clear that any and like there's a whole other conversation about what if these people were black. That is
yeah.
that is like a whole other, like, the comparison picture. If someone has I don't know if anyone in the chat, there's a really amazing comparison picture between what the steps of the Capitol building looked like during the BLM protests, and what the police were like, the police presence on the stairs of the Capitol building, and then it's contrasted with, there's actually a really funny, not funny, it's disgusting, but there's a video of a cop kind of escorting, they're pushing the people down, not pushing, they're walking down the stairs in a line, and they're and the people that are on the stairs have to move, right? And this one of these police officers is holding one of the rioters' hands to help her walk down the stairs. Like, here, honey, let me help you walk down the stairs. Right? And and when you contrast that with, what was happening during the Black Lives Matter protests, it's a stunning.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is shocking. These pictures, the videos are just absolutely mind-blowing, to be perfectly honest, to me.
It doesn't seem many moments as I was looking at the video footage and the still pictures of the men inside of the one room, the guards, I want to call them, I'm not sure exactly what, Capitol Police or whoever they were, that were pointing guns at the rioters, or whatever you want to call them, as they were breaking through the glass of that room, and they had barricaded that wall, and they were pointing their weapons out of the thing. Like, are you really going to come in here? We're really going to have to, that picture right there. When I saw that, I was just like, this is like, I mean, me and you, Mike, play a lot of video games. This is like Grand Theft Auto. It's like a surreal, this is cyberpunk. This is a fake world that's all kinds of crazy stuff happens in, and that's whatever might be, except it's not. And it's that beautiful Capitol building that you guys designed and created and replicated there, and have an awesome purpose for it. And our representatives of our country are in that room. And these people are, the intent was to harm them. I mean, that's all you can say. I mean, what else would you be doing? You're going in there to do something, and I don't know, I just saw that and I was just like, it doesn't surprise me though, as I posted a tweet about that. It just doesn't, because there's been so much, even before the election of Donald Trump happened, the lead up to the election, and then these past 4 years, and then for this to be the culminating, whatever's going to happen between now and January 20th. And like I said, I don't think it'll end even after he's out of office. It's not surprising to me, because this is where we're at, and it should surprise me, because it's disgusting. It shouldn't be the norm, but it's the norm. It's crazy. It's the norm, and it's sad and it's disgusting, but it didn't surprise me that the event surprised me.
Yeah.
What they were doing, as far as what they decided to do, that's, it doesn't. And I don't even know. Like, I don't think I don't want to be pessimistic or be thinking it negatively. I just don't think it's the end. I don't think that this is not the culminating event of whatever might be. I think this is just one of the many things that are going to occur. And this is how they go out, burn everything down as they go through it, as they leave. It's disgusting, but it is where we're at.
This picture blows my mind. So this is on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and this is the cops, and they're just standing there, and that's a pretty menacing. And
Yeah.
the irony, obviously, is that the protesters, the Black Lives Matter protesters, were sitting. They weren't doing a damn thing. And you had all of this, and then you have this. A siege on the Capitol building of the United States government. I still can't get over how police were so easily overwhelmed. It's amazing because it's astounding to me. I think that that's like a whole like line of inquiry that's gonna get gone down. I don't know how to say that properly, but we're gonna be going down that road real soon here because the Capitol Police were clearly not prepared, and so it makes you wonder, it makes you wonder how capable are the Capitol Police of defending the United States government? Yeah, they sure were ready in Minneapolis, in Portland, ready there too, right?
Yeah.
Ready in June, even in Washington, D.C., ready in June. Ready. I mean, see how fast they cleared a street when Trump wanted to hold a fucking Bible up in front of a church? They were pretty ready then. Saw videos showing that they let them in the building by moving the barricade. They didn't expect them to storm it. I don't know why you wouldn't. Look at these people. Like, seriously, I don't love the idea of, like, I don't know. They all look the same, is what I'm saying in a lot of cases. And it's so, it's just something, man. Like, look at these schmucks with their riot gear.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was as I was thinking about the Capitol Police or whatever it might be, that is part of the conversation about, well, first of all, they were directed by the president.
Yes, yeah, 100%.
At this rally to basically cause hell, and this happened to be the choice that they made as far as going there. Then you have the Capitol Police and whoever was the thing there, and they're probably thinking, well, it's not like they're gonna do anything wrong because it's they're not gonna do anything here, and it's so like it's so disgusting and sick, but yet it is the fact. It is where we're at.
Yeah.
It is who we are. It is who we are. I don't care what anybody says of whatever might be and saying. No. He was. It was a super close election. I mean, it was very, very close election. It wasn't a blowout. It was whatever. A lot of people, through all of the stuff that's happened and whatever might be, have continued to support him, and some of them enthusiastically, passionately, on that train. So it is a representation, whether we like this or not, and we want to say, of a part of who we are as far as a country, and it's that part is super disgusting to me, and I don't understand it, and I think that the next administration, not only do they have a big job to do with all kinds of other issues, we have tons of issues. We have a global epidemic. We have all kinds of things that are going on. Then we have a large sect of people, I would say close to half, that are, I don't know how you turn them around. That's basically what I'm trying to say. I don't know how you get them to be part of want to be part of the whole again. It feels pretty divided. I mean, and it's not not just kind of divided, but really divided.
I have thoughts on this, like as someone who had like I have policy and like governing thoughts on this, in the sense that, you know, the way to win people over is like the way that the Biden administration wins people over is good government, is doing good work for as many people as possible. And there are people you will never win over for a variety of reasons. But one of the things that Democrats have failed to do is, especially at the local level, especially at the state level, the Obama administration was an unmitigated disaster at the local and state level. It didn't support local and state level races as much as it should have, and it didn't flex its muscles to make sure that they kept the local and state level governments strong. And the consequence of that was that, hey, Janie Laney, welcome in. Thanks for following. Janie Laney, by the way, I'm not going to give her I'm going to give her a shout out. Go ahead, Janie, and throw your Facebook gaming link in the chat if you want. She is a Minecraft streamer on Facebook. And great to have you here. No, go ahead if you want to. But I'll tell you, the Obama administration failed at supporting local governments, and this is what, the Biden administration, if they want to win people over, help as many people as humanly possible. The case in point of this is Obamacare. Obamacare wasn't popular until people tried to take it away from people. And then all of a sudden it's the best thing in the world. And, the 2018 midterms were almost entirely decided on the idea that Republicans were trying to take back people's health care from them. And the irony, obviously, is that in 2010, Nancy Pelosi, suggested that, that it wasn't going to be popular until, people had it. What did she say? We're not going to know. There's a saying that she had. She said it in 2009 or 2010, and people, skewered her for it, but she was entirely right. And so, just do good by the people, and there are a small group of people that you will never win over. We need to pass the bill before we know what's in it. I mean, there's parts of that. It's a funny way to say it, but what she was trying to get at, there's a broader point that what she was trying to get at was that, it was part of a broader conversation about how people just don't realize that this is what they needed, right? And you had like narratives, death panels, and all this other bullshit, right? But the reality is that as soon as people started taking away Obamacare or threatened to take away Obamacare, people lost their minds. And these were people that were like, these were Tea Partiers and stuff like that in 2012. And, in 2018, it's like, no, I'm voting for Democrats because they want to let me keep my Obamacare that I actually realize now that I like, and is not a subvertive plot to undermine democracy with socialism, right? So, do good by the people is really the punchline to all of this. And so, you're not going to win over everybody, but I think you can win over some people. And I'll tell you, just as a Canadian, healthcare is great, and you should all have it.
I think, like I said, we that is one. of the many issues that
Right.
that that the next administration has to deal with. And but I think the number one thing is how do you bring everybody back into the fold together, working together towards another purpose? And maybe this insaneness, these events, turn some people to it. Maybe it has. It will turn some of the representatives and say, you know what, we're here to govern, and we may have different ideas about what the best path towards doing that. But in the end,
Yeah.
we all have the people in mind. I don't believe that the current president does, but I believe that there are a lot of Republican representatives, both in the House and in the Senate, that do. They have the best um, policies in mind for the people that they represent. That they're not evil. They're not trying to do evil, bad things or in it for themselves. Many of them are in it to be public servants.
I want to
There
start.
are
I want to
are
start differentiating between. Listen, I think that the Republican Party is bullshit. Um, I don't have a problem with conservatives. I don't have a problem with conservative policy positions. I disagree with them, right? But I don't have a problem necessarily with you being a conservative. There are a lot of good conservatives. I want to, right? But I don't think that there are many good Republicans. And I want to, I personally am starting to differentiate between the two because I think that there is a time coming real soon where the GOP is going to need to have a reckoning here. And don't get me wrong, also, there are a ton of shitty Democrats. Like that, what's that, the dude in New Jersey, you know, there's like the Illinois governor who Trump just let off the hook. I mean, there's tons of bad Democrats. And Bob Menendez, yeah, that's it. There are bad people in politics. Newsflash, there are bad people in politics.
Sure, there are bad people in all kinds of professions. But again, what I'm trying to say is there is a group of people who it is not about politics anymore. It is about impassioned hate directed at
Owning the libs.
Specific groups of people. And lots of them are minorities. Many of them it has to do with ideals, just specific ideas. Some of it is racism. Some of it has to do with religion. A combination of all of those things, though, has gathered a group of people that are 50% basically of the country. So
yep.
You have to govern all of these people. I love what Joe Biden is saying as far as bringing everybody together and that he is going to govern for all people. And like you just said, those are going to be important things to do is to actually do that, to actually govern. Will the minority, in this case, the Republicans now allow for that? That's going to be an interesting question. Will policies actually get through that do help people? It's super hard to pass things, to make legislation happen and to help people. And I hope it does. I hope maybe that some of these events like turn people. And I heard some specific Republicans speak out against all of this is happening. They were speaking out before. They were like, the election is done, and we need to start governing the people and representing, the people that we do represent. So it is going to be a very difficult. It was already going to be a difficult beginning.
Yeah.
As far as to a term, it's going to be very, very complicated and difficult. And I hope that there's if there's anybody that can do it, it is Joe Biden. I think, as far as someone that can bring together all sides and people can see that he is genuine. Um,
Yeah, I
I think that
tweeted
it
I
is.
tweeted a couple months ago that if there's anyone in the world, like, you can disagree with Joe Biden on tons of things, you can not like his policies, you can whatever. Never ever in your life doubt that Joe Biden doesn't have your best, like, he will work for as many people as he possibly can. He's just a good guy, right? And he comes off as a good guy, and he's not always gonna he's not as eloquent as Obama. He's
No,
not.
that's actually a good thing.
Yeah,
People don't want eloquence.
right.
They want they. That's part of the reason why people drifted towards Trump is he was just saying how it is, in a not very tactful way, and people enjoy that. They want that, and I think that that's part of his obviously Joe Biden's charm. But he's also, a guy that's been through a hell of a lot of things,
Yep.
uh, and his empathy is real. And
Guy's got serious empathy. Like yeah,
it,
he can connect with people.
it's real,
Yeah.
So it's not very genuine. It's not he's playing a game or something like that. It's not at all. Um, so yeah, it's gonna.
Janie hasn't seen the city. Yeah, this is it. It's huge, as you can see. Yeah, there's the Lincoln Memorial, World War II Memorial, MLK Memorial, Washington Monument. There's there's the Capitol building,
That's beautiful.
White House over here. This is the path. So what I was just playing around with here is the path that the tour is going to go on. So there's going to be signs here. There's going to be NPCs all over the place. Janie is actually the reason why Janie's here is we've been collaborating. I'll get that word out. We were collaborating with her. She has been doing some of the work on the NPCs. Actually, Janie, I need to talk to you. I'm gonna send you a DM in Discord about being on a stream with me on MLK Day if you're down to that. Irony, Janie is also Canadian. I think. So that means that there'd be two Canadians talking about Martin Luther King on Martin Luther King Day, which is an American holiday, not a Canadian holiday. Pog. Anyways. Super funny. Oh, on social media I am? Interesting. Well, that's a story. So anyways, this is the path that people will take. This is the little guided tour that we're giving them, and they will come across NPCs. Janie's been working with our team. I tried to draw this line here and I completely butchered it. Becky, I'm wondering if we can do what you did before to make this line better, to do this line too. These curved lines are an absolute pain in the ass. Maybe it's best to do them in the air first and then bring them up. I don't know if we have the energy to do that, but it would probably make them look a hell of a lot nicer. Yeah, so this is the line. So there's lots of work that needs to be done in the world, and we only have a few days to do it. What we're doing is cutting off. We have a cutoff date of, well, it's probably going to get extended to probably Monday to be basically done with the worlds, because we got to copy it to 20 different servers. There is going to be 20 servers running this Martin Luther King Day world.
That's amazing.
And do we want to bring... I don't know why I'm doing this in the air or not in the air. I'm so like worked up about what's happened today that I'm not it's tough. I wrote it right in the description, tough stream. Not hard to concentrate. I've had days where I've tried to come on here and build, and I've just have not had it. Because it's a lot of this work requires some pretty serious concentration, especially when we were in the middle of building the Capitol building. Making black people in grayscale is hilariously annoying. That's funny. That was Jassy's decision. Oh no, that was Becky's idea. Blame Becky. I blame Becky for most things. I also give Becky credit for most things though too, so. Yeah. Glenn, I'm glad you came on and chatted with me. I feel better now.
Good. We'll see. We'll see what tonight brings and tomorrow.
Yeah.
See where we're at.
I mean, teaching this is going to be hard tomorrow. I think you let kids talk. I would love to hear how people actually propose, you know, the balance between letting... what am I trying to say? There are absolutely going to be kids of parents who think what happened tonight was good. That
Agreed.
the whole, I would have been there doing it myself if it wasn't for so and so and so and so and so and so, right? I would have been there. I would have stormed the Capitol too. These people are trying to take over our country. And then what they're going to do is they're going to parrot that back to their teachers tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And so how do you like combat that without talking down to kids, right? And without getting mad, because your desire is to be like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Yeah. And I don't have a really good answer for that, to be honest. I think you let kids talk. I don't have a problem telling kids that I disagree with them. I've done it tons of times. I don't have a problem saying, you know, Johnny, you know, most people would suggest that what you're saying isn't correct. I respect your right to have an opinion. You know, in your head you're saying, but it's really your parents' opinion, probably. Thanks, Science Streams. Thanks for coming in. Thanks, Scott. Take care. But most people would suggest that that's not accurate, or that's not right. And I also think that you should like especially if they're using not the right vocabulary to describe it, because I think that you can define what happened in proper terms without it being political even. Like, it was a riot. right? Because a riot is a certain thing. Like defining what a protest, like, I would literally bring up a dictionary article with what a protest is and what a riot is, and let kids see it for themselves. Like, let them, like,
That's part of the discussion. Yeah, exactly right.
let's even like what
What is the difference? What, how do we...
define
Yep.
define protest. Statement or action expressing disapproval or objection to something. Define riot. A violent disturbance of the peace by a crowd. Tell me, like riot. It's funny. Riots broke out in the Capitol. is the exemplar.
Oh man.
Google's hitting a little close to home, friends.
Yeah, a little too accurate.
Little on the fucking nose there, boys. So, but like, there are words for things, and you can use the proper words without it being like using proper vocabulary to describe what happened is not political. I'd be specific about what happened in terms of what went down and let students draw their own conclusions. Is it illegal? Is it legal to break into the Capitol building? That way you don't need to use words like riot. But I'd only push back on that in the sense that like there's a difference between what a riot is and a protest is. And by definition, this was a riot. Right? And so but also using proper terms allows the kids to feel like they have a voice. Right. I wouldn't like tell them. I put up the two words. I'd literally put up the two words on the screen. I'd split the screen. I'm thinking through this as I go here, but I wouldn't have a problem going like this and going like this and you know, define protest. And, you know, so you got them right beside each other. And it's like, let's read what this says, and let's read what this says. And tell me which one is more accurately describing what happened last night.
Yeah, and not even just tell me, but have the discussion, bring it together, and then bring back your group's conclusions. What did you guys come up with? Have some driving questions so that they can have an effective discussion with each other with parameters. Obviously, set up some norms as far as the discussion, how it takes place, and how you interact with each other. I think there's a lot of great ideas that are being shared on the social studies chat, SS chat, hashtag. But one of the things is when you do have these types of potentially very heated discussions, before you begin anything, you got to set up norms of how do you actually communicate with each other? How do we speak to each other at school? And especially in this specific class, you're a teacher there. And then have these specific driving questions and let them come up with the exact right conclusions because you drive them to there, but you don't have to lecture them. And then that way you are the facilitator of the discussion, leading them always to the right path and clarifying things if they go off the path. So if they say something incorrect, you go, no, that's actually not accurate. Here it is. Here's actually what did occur. So let's make sure we stick to what did actually happen and, in the specific terms, etc. But yes, I think that can be had. I think the biggest thing for the teachers and the hardest part for many teachers is going to be to remain non-emotional.
Yeah.
To pull their emotions out of the whole entire thing and understand that their role in that class is not to be a lecturer, I'm going to tell you how it is, because that's not your role. Your role is to educate. So you do bring up these terms. You talk about them. You say, what is this? What happened? where did this come, what ended up happening, and what's the repercussions of this, but maybe even pull back a bit and go, what led to this, and leads to this kind of mindset. What do we do? Or how, it, all of those kinds of things can be a great way to diffuse the emotion too. If you remain emotionless, even though their emotions may go up, and they may be impassioned and whatever else might be, it's way easier to control a class. It's like the best classroom management advice you can give anybody, especially in this case. is you have to pull your emotions out of it. You have to prepare yourself for that, and prepare yourself for God knows what would come out of, it's going to be, middle school, high school kids, or elementary, whoever it might be, whatever they're repeating from their parents, and then just be non-emotional about the response to each of those things. Because man, it is a tough, extremely difficult situation, but extremely important.
Yeah.
This is the discussion.
How about that one there? Also know that there are teachers out there that will be fully teachers that will be fully in support of what happened.
I 100% agree with Penapelko. Sorry if I butchered your name there. You are exactly right. And I know teachers that are 100% disagree with everything that I believe in, and the way that I viewed that event. Their lens couldn't be more bizarro world. I like to refer to that as, oh, sorry, Doug. This Seinfeld reference, total boomer here, which this is their view couldn't be the more 180-degree flip side of the way that I view something, the exact same event, their lens of viewing it, and we see completely different things. And I think, actually, I know, I just have to say, I know, I'm going to put it out there that that's 50% of our country, and then the other 50. And we are viewing the exact same events. Sometimes the lenses are skewed because depending upon where you're getting your input from, depending on what media channels or however you're taking it in, Facebook, etc. They could be skewed, whatever way it might be. But in the end, we see things, something happens, and like these clips that you're seeing, Mike, or the pictures of the sills, the interpretation of those could be 180 degrees different. That's how insane it is. And that's why I said it's so difficult to go ahead and govern under these circumstances as far as for the next administration. And I don't envy them, and they have a huge undertaking. And I think it's going to every day leading up to the transition of power, or of power, is going to be some other craziness. Every day is going to be one insane event after another.
It started off as a protest, turned into a riot, and then turned into an insurrection. I actually agree with that. I think that's, and I think you can lead, even if you're not trying to like lead kids to the conclusion. I think that is the logical conclusion. And if you provide the context properly, to allow kids to make their own decisions, I think that they could see that that's what happened. I love this. Doug could also be a great jumping off point for media literacy conversations. Bring up 2 news stories from reputable outlets. Should we see what Breitbart is saying? Just for fun. It's gross, but
I don't need. Yeah. But yes, it's important to know the spectrum too, because again, I would be willing to admit that a lot of things I see is on the left spectrum, and so it's going to have those perspectives, and those things that I want to hear is what's being delivered to me. So it's not very neutral. So you want to, I think they did a great infographic somewhere. It's somewhere out there of where on the spectrum each of these different types of media consumption where do they lie? You know, and what are the ones that are kind of the most accurate, most middle, and it's great. It's like what Doug is describing there. It's great conversations about, like he just said there. What is the truth? You know, because there's so many truths out there that are being reported to us. Which one is it? Which one is the truth? So yes, a fantastic point there.
Janie with a tier 2 sub. Oh my god, Janie, thank you so much. That's amazing. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That is awesome. Yeah. I keep refreshing because I am insanely curious of whether like people are going to continue to whether people are going to continue to object to the vote. And I'm not seeing any updates. So the rumors were, so there was the Arizona objection that was supported by Ted Cruz, and then apparently there was going to be an objection to Georgia and Pennsylvania. This is funny. Trump initially did not want to deploy the National Guard today, but on Breitbart, there's that giant headline that says Trump deploys National Guard. You know, giving him credit for solving the problem. Oh my God. Lawmakers and officials condemn attack on U.S. Capitol. On lockdown.
I think I'm going to have to jump off. My kids to bed.
Yes.
Great chat. Great chat. Fantastic build. Great points by the viewers here. Man, you guys are rocking it.
Yeah.
Gonna lead us to a good discussion on the podcast too.
Oh boy. Yeah. Do you have the link still? I think there's a OnEducation.
Sure. Yep, I gotcha.
We should do the sublink. Do the sublink from Twitter. Like our sublink. So Glen Irvin, who you've been hearing, is my co-host on OnEducation, very popular education podcast, downloaded many thousands of times a month. It's very good, if you ask me. But Glenn is my co-host, and I asked him to come on to join us to join me on the stream because I wanted to talk to Glenn. Do I follow him on Twitter too? I don't know. Glenn can put his Twitter link in the chat, and you can follow Glenn on Twitter. You totally should.
Doug was following me now too. That's awesome. There you go.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I follow you back too. All of you. You guys are awesome.
Gotta go, finishing up my latest pod. Thanks, Doug, for dropping in and hanging out. Really great contributions to the chat from Doug and from Janie. Thank you so much. It was fantastic. We're going to you can Glenn, thanks. I was feeling like crap, and I'm glad you came by and hung out.
Good man.
I'll talk to you later.
Good night, everybody.